The Guardians and the Pirates went head-to-head at PNC Park Sunday, and after a close matchup, find out how Cleveland was able to come out on top.
The NBA playoffs are here, and the Cleveland Cavaliers play the Miami Heat in the first round. Find out how Cleveland was able to start off the series strong.
And the NHL playoffs are also in full swing. Lace up those skates as we head out onto the ice later in the show. All of this and more coming up as Sports Corner starts right now. From the Franklin Hall studio on the campus of Kent State University, this is Sports Corner. Alongside Liv Sharp, I'm Matt Corrali.
And we start tonight with an update on some Kent State softball. What do you got, Matt?
Yes, we do. Well, Kent State had their senior day game at Divine Diamond on Saturday, and after losing the two previous games in the series to Northern Illinois, the Flashes ended the game with the chimes of the victory bell. Kent State opened the game with a run in the bottom of the first from Kendall Leitner thanks to a bunt single. NIU responded with a solo homer in the second, but the Flashes would retaliate as Leilani Johnson would hit an RBI double to score Brooke Aberle and took back the lead. After 3 straight hits, the Huskies would take the lead until the bottom of the 6th, when the Flashes would plate 7 runs in the frame to finish the game by the final of 9-3. Kent State will head to Youngstown to take on the YSU Penguins for a non-conference game tomorrow.
Kent State's Brody Williams was named to the midseason watch list for the Buster Posey National Collegiate Catcher of the Year Award. Williams is hitting .342 with 41 hits and 37 runs scored. He has also managed to catch 10 base stealers from behind the plate. He was ranked 32nd in the best D1 catcher in the country. The junior would be the first Golden Flash to win the award in program history. Well, Matt, let's start there with some discussion about Brody Williams. Do you think it's possible for him to take this award?
Oh, I think it's very possible because look at the numbers. I mean, he's a junior and he's hitting .342 on the season, 2 homers, 31 RBIs, and also with the fact that something that goes very under the radar with his game is his back pick move.
Yep.
And when he gets runners out on first and third, when they have a good lead, he has that back pick maneuver that gets him to be caught lacking on the base paths. He did that twice Saturday against OU, and especially with the fact that Kent State is very high up in the Mid-American Conference standings, and Williams is a big reason why as to that. There wouldn't be no shock from me if he were to win the award.
Absolutely. I think at the very least, he'll be a semifinalist. Those will be announced in the coming weeks. But he's been he truly has been excellent. He's not a catcher that you really want to run on because, like you said, that back pick move is deadly. If he catches you lacking, you will be sent back to the dugout very swiftly. I think if he continues to keep the momentum that he has, as long as he continues to have, a really good batting average, I think absolutely that the award could be in his future.
So, talking now, going to their pitching, I mean, that has really stepped up.
It has absolutely.
Of the past month. And a big reason why, to me, has been the play of Eric Chalice and Rocco Bernardinez.
Yeah.
Kent State does things interesting. They do this rotation on the final day of a series where they flip-flop the starters and one starts and one comes out of the pen. I think it's a really good idea from head coach Jeff Duncan. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Right.
Because Chalice is really a guy that's more technical with his pitches. He's more trying to paint the corners, has a more, arsenal of pitches that
He's got a
can
deep
use.
bag, yeah.
He does. He very much does. And Bernardino, he just shoves.
He does.
High velocity, you can expect a lot of fastball. Has a good slider and breaking ball as well. But it really sets the tone for the game.
I think that definitely there's also an element of confusion that comes in with teams because you really don't know who you're going to get. Of course, you can anticipate it, but you know that halfway through that game, you're shifting to the other. And whatever game plan you had for the first one, you're not going to be able to apply the second one because they have such different styles of pitching. I think it's really an excellent thing. The only thing that I would be concerned about is once we get closer to tourney play, that might necessarily, worry them and maybe they get tired or whatnot. So I would like to see more out of the arms, but we really haven't seen Kent State have any sort of a traditional bullpen game, but rather what could be a bullpen game on those Sundays has turned into a double whammy between those two.
Yeah, they're in the midst of a homestand at the moment, playing Washington and Jefferson right now.
Yes.
Last we checked, on top 18-2 in the bottom of the third, so that game could be over in a jiff. Wednesday night, they're playing Youngstown State at home at 6 o'clock, and over the weekend, they're playing that school down the road for a 3-game set at Schoonover Stadium. It should be a fun one.
All leading up to that Big Ball State series. If we've said it once, we've said it a bunch of times. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
All right, now we take things to the links. The Flashes are knee-deep in the MAC Women's Championship, and all 5 golfers in the Kent State lineup sit in the top 10. The Flashes held a 7-stroke lead after Sunday's opening round and currently hold a 22-stroke lead after today. The Flashes lead the MAC in championship titles with 25 and the only team to win the championship since women's golf MAC tournament started in 1999.
All right, well, as school comes to an end, so does our Flashes volleyball spring season, and tonight we have our very own Avery Rigney to tell us more about how Kent State volleyball has been preparing for their upcoming fall season. Welcome to the show, Sportscorner debut.
Thank you, I'm excited to be here.
Very nice.
Well, we've seen a lot on overtime, but we're bringing her up to the big league. So, Avery, how has spring been going?
It's been great. I mean, there's been a lot of developmental, we've been learning how to connect with each other. We brought in 3 new players. In last fall season, we actually had 11 new players. So last fall season, it was a lot of growing in the season and trying to figure out during conference. But now in the spring, since we have a foundation built, it's easy to bring these 3 players in and just build off of the foundation that we have built in the past.
What differences have been there between the fall season and the spring?
I think we're having a lot more fun. Last season was kind of stressful. So we are definitely having a lot more fun. Our first spring game against Walsh, I mean, as a team, we kind of sat together and said, this is the first time that we felt like we've had fun playing all together. So that's definitely a major difference from last year.
Well, like every sport, you do have some spring matches. So what's been the outcomes of those? What performances have stood out to you?
Yeah, so in Walsh, we had a great performance, definitely. We started off strong and finished strong, which is one of our weaknesses last year was we would either start the game off strong and just crumble, or it would be the opposite. We would crumble at the beginning and then try to fight and work our way back up. And I think this spring season, in all of our matches that we've played Walsh, Cleveland State, Ohio Dominican, Wheeling, and then we play Robert Morris this Saturday at home. So I think we have definitely done a better job at working and just fighting through the whole game, not giving up. We start strong and we finish strong. So that's been our major goal.
Talked about some of those challenges that you guys face as a team in the fall. Any of the tougher challenges that you experience in the spring?
Yeah, so right now we have a couple of limited players. Definitely injuries are kind of hard in the spring since we do have a limited roster. There's only about 12 of us, and right now there are certain players that are on the injury reserve list, so it's taking away positions and kind of drills that we could focus on. But another thing is, let's see. Sorry, I lost my spot. So it's just kind of working around those injuries is one of the main things.
Well, what have been the kind of goals and expectations from this team, ending spring ball and heading into the fall?
I think keeping the connection we have. We have a very strong connection on and off the court, and I think as we have the 6 weeks off, in the summer, after school is done, we get 6 weeks off, then we're back in June, and we're in full swing, June and July. And so I think just keeping our connection and working in the summer to really build off of this.
Well, best of luck this season, Avery. It's going to be fun to watch, and we appreciate you having you on.
Thank you.
All right, well, the Padres took on the Astros over in Houston this weekend. We have the details on how San Diego was able to come out on top.
Good morning. Hope you all had a good weekend and are ready to be inspired. One quick thing I want to remind you guys to be studying.
Major key alert. Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Today we're talking about inspirational quotes.
You want to get that paper? You better turn in that paper and get an A+. That's a major key. Another one. Mogul talk. You want to reach the mountaintop? You got to go hard. To succeed, you have to believe. Stay focused. Fly higher than the eagle. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote from recent history?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.
spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes twice a day. They have the time.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, we mentioned earlier before the break about that Kent State baseball matchup against Washington and Jefferson that's going on right now. We just got an update. It is now 21-3 in the bottom of the fifth. There is a run rule. It exceeds 10 after 7 innings, so the Flashes need to play 2 more in order to bring home the win and keep that at a 10-run deficit. Well, weather's heating up. That means baseball is also heating up as well. We'll start tonight with the matchup between Cleveland and Pittsburgh on Easter Sunday out in Western PA. Guardians are looking for the sweep of the Pirates. Top 3 1-on, 1-out. Pirates starter Mitch Keller is going to need to call 9 Quan after this shot. 4th home run of the year for Steven. It's 2-0 Cleveland. We'll go to the top of the 6th. Runners on the quarters, 2 down for Brian Rocchio. He'll send one out to center. Alex Canario stays on his feet and still makes the grab. That will end the inning, and we'll go to the bottom of the frame. Andrew McCutcheon hits one down the line and left into the corner. And let's watch Brian Reynolds chug around the bases. He will come around to score. It's now 2-1. We'll go to the top 7. Welcome to the Kyle Manzardo Show. His 2nd home run in as many games gives the Guardians a 4-1 lead after that 2-run shot. In the 9th, Pirates bring things through the tying run of the dish. Adam Frazier boots one the other way. That will score 2, and it's a 1-run game. Now the winning run in the form of Key Brian Hayes is at the plate, and off Emmanuel Clase, he will tie it. And we go to extras. In the 10th, Manzardo flies one out to left. Tommy Pham will make the grab over at third, trying to score as John Kenzie Noel. Here's the throw. He beats it. Guardians lead 5-4, bottom half. Emmanuel Valdez is the winning run. Gives it a ride, but it's caught out there by Noel, and how sweep it is. The Guardians win all 3 in Pittsburgh, taking the finale by the score of 5-4.
Let's go now to rainy Chi-Town for the finale between the Cubs and the Diamondbacks. Michael Busch rewards the fans with an RBI single after a combined 90 minutes of rain delays. That makes it 1-0 Cubs. Now, top 4, an old friend and one of my favorites, Josh Naylor ties it with an RBI single of his own. But in this next clip, you'll see Nails getting a little bit too confident as he tries to steal home here and instead gets tagged out. Now things are kept at 1. This one goes to extra innings, and Naylor gets to play hero as his 3rd hit of the game gives the D-backs the go-ahead run, and they take the game 3-2.
Royals taking on the Tigers. Wow, packed house out of Comerica, huh? Well, defending AL Cy Young winner Tarek Skubal facing Vinny Pasquantino. He'll dump one in the left center field for a hit. That will score Maikel Garcia. It's 1-0 Royals. 2 batters later, Drew Waters at the dish, and he'll send one out to center as well. Hunter Renfroe will score. It's 2-0 KC. Fast forward to the bottom of the 5th. Kerry Carpenter facing Michael Wacha. He'll ground one to right. That'll get through. Colt Keith will come around to score, and it's 2-1 as the Tigers are on the board at home. Very next batter, Zach McKinstry, 2-out, 2-strike RBI, will tie this game. We're all even at 2. Let's now go to McKinstry's next at bat. He will send one the other way for a base hit. Here comes Gleyber Torres around third trying to score. He will on that head first slide. Tigers have their first lead of the afternoon. In the 8th, Mark Hanna hits one in the left center field. Bobby Witt Jr. is coming around from second to score. Now we're back to even at 3. We'll go to extras. And Witt in the 10th flies one out to left. That is caught out there by Riley Green. Waters is trying to beat his strong throw on a bounce. No, it's too late. And then Dylan Dingler, a Massillon native, can be the hero, popping out to short, and no, Maikel Garcia squeezes it. Royals snap a 6-game skid. Tigers 3-win streak snap as they win it 4-3 in 10.
We have a real pitcher's duel as we are scoreless at the top of the 8th between the Dodgers and the Rangers down in Texas. But Will Smith takes the first pitch of the frame for a single off of Chris Martin. Now we have 2 on first and second, and up to the dish is Mookie Betts. He sends a fly ball deep out to right. Adolis Garcia backing up, and he snags that one with ease, but it'll send Smith to third, and he beats out the ball to to Josh Young. Now with runners on the corners, Freddie Freeman up to bat. He breaks up the scoreless game with a sacrifice fly, and that will score Smith and make this a 1-0 Dodgers game. And spoiler alert, that is how this one will remain. The final was LA by 1-0. A great team outing, working together to get that massive one run as they improved to 16-7.
And the nightcap on Sunday, Padres and Astros from Houston. Their ace lefty Framber Valdez will start. Scary moment, top of the first. Luis Ariz with the drag bunt. He'll run it down to the first baseline and colliding with that looks to be Mauricio Dubon. He will have to be stretched off, and he's on concussion IL for the next week. Still in the first, Xander Bogaerts grounds one into a surefire double play, but it will go out of the glove of Christian Walker. That will score Fernando Tatis Jr., and it's 1-0 San Diego. In the third, Gavin Sheets facing Valdez, grounds one. That goes off Walker's glove. Tatis scores his second run of the night. It's 2-0 Padres. Bottom five, Dubon pops one off, and Jose Iglesias, I should say, that goes off his glove. A real Gold Glove day in Houston. That scores a run. It's 2-1 Astros. Yordan Alvarez at the dish with the bases loaded, sends one out to right. Tatis is there to make the grab. However, that will score a run from third. We are all even at 2. Bottom six, Tatis is going to flash some leather. Sliding grab in the right. They try to double off the runner at first. He's safe. But a great play made there, and from defense to offense, a 2-out solo homer, his 8th of the year, tied for second in baseball with Mike Trout is in the lead, and then Robert Suarez slams the door. Padres avoid the sweep of the Astros in Houston by the final of 3-2.
We finish things off in sunny Anaheim for a rubber match between the Angels and the San Francisco Giants. Top five, Elliot Ramos lines this one out to center, but it sneaks past Joe Adell, and Ramos has a triple off of a fielding error in the infield. He stopped at second, but he decides to take third as well, and he gets there safely. Now Willie Adames lines out to left, and the Giants take a 1-0 lead with Ramos scoring there again. Still top five. Now we slide to bottom five, and Zach Neto knots things up at one as he takes Justin Verlander deep. He knew that one was a no-doubter. That goes all the way out to the rock fixture there. You see the explosions. That one was absolutely smashed. Now top eight, still tied at 1, runners on the corners, and it's Adames again with another RBI single, and the score is now 4-1. Last chance for the Angels, bases loaded, and this is the last thing you want to see. Neto gets hit, and that walks in a run, and Joe Adell comes up to shut this game down. It's a bases clearing walk-off RBI double, and the Angels come back from down 3 in the 9th to win it 5-4 and take the series.
A lot of exciting stuff on Sunday.
Lots of extra innings.
Baseball. Yeah, especially with the fact that the playoffs may have taken the shine before the day.
MLB says no.
MLB says no. Yeah. All right, so I guess starting off with the Guardians, the local team here. Kyle Manzardo and Steven Kwan are on a heater. Kwan's leading, or excuse me, they're both tied for second in home runs on the team with 4. What do you think is their ceiling?
I mean, honestly, I think these guys are really going to be franchise-defining players. I truly believe that. We knew Manzardo was going to be someone special. He's been a highly touted and highly anticipated prospect. And the way that even Steven Kwan talks about him, it's really weird to think of Kwan as like now a veteran on this team.
Oh my gosh,
but
he's
considering,
only year 4.
I know, but considering how young this team is, Kwan has sort of shifted to a veteran role, and he said that he's just an old school type of hitter. He can be an anchor for this team, and I truly can see that. Manzardo is crazy, and if I wasn't convinced enough, taking Paul Skeens deep to the Allegheny River, I mean, a guy who is going to be one of the next greatest pitchers, and you're on your second year, and you're taking him yard to the river, I'm just absolutely floored by him. And Kwan, we know that he is a generational talent. We are so blessed to have him here in Cleveland. And quite frankly, a friend told me this. If you Guardians fans want to see Steven Kwan extended, when you go to the ballpark, get that extra cheese cup with your pretzel, get those extra onions and peppers on your hot dog. You have to do anything you can to contribute to get Steven Kwan that well-deserved extension.
Yeah, and I totally agree with those ceilings. I definitely think Steven Kwan could even put himself in the MVP conversation in the second half of the season. That really fizzled out after the first half. But we could see a All-Star game appearance out of Kyle Manzardo if he continues this type of play. But now you kind of have to be like, okay, because we saw the exact same thing last year. Not really with individual players. It was more of a team effort because they were winning a lot more this time last year than they are now. But you got to wonder, is there going to be a fall off? Now, granted, 162 games. There are going to be peaks and there are going to be valleys, but is there going to be such a drastic fall-off where it would affect the Guardians' playoff chances? Right now, as we're sitting here, I say no.
Right.
But, you know, we got to make sure that we have to look at the Guardians and say, okay, can this be a team that will try to contend all season long like they did last year, even though they had a rough start?
Right.
And can they even break through that wall of winning the pennant and then getting themselves to a World Series? Because that's the goal after losing in 5 to the Yankees.
I definitely think they can. I think that, I said this last week, there have been a lot of snap judgments made about the bullpen, about Emmanuel Clase, and I think that right now the guards probably are sitting at the worst they will be all season right now. I think this is their bottom floor. They're still adjusting to this new lineup after losing Jimenez and Naylor. Still trying to figure each other out. They've got a lot of great farm prospects that we could see getting called up over the next few weeks. I think this is the worst we will see the Guardians, which is crazy to say that in the month of April that this is their rock bottom. But I truly believe once more bullpen arms get healthy, once Emmanuel Clase gets back into that groove, we're going to see the Guardians reach new levels that we truly haven't seen before.
Speaking of the Guardians, an old friend of them in Terry Francona is managing the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah.
Right now they are down 2-0 to the Marlins in Miami, bottom of the 4th. They are 11-11 on the year.
Yeah.
Last night against the Orioles in Baltimore, they won 24-2.
Woo! And
Any
this was
thoughts on that?
crazy because it wasn't like an Ellie De La Cruz had a knockout game where he scored like 30 of those 20. Nah, that's not how math works. But they really saw a lot of production from those 8 and 9 spots, which if I'm a Reds fan, I find very encouraging because that's where they've had so many issues in the past that after that 4-5 hole, everyone else just really doesn't do anything, and they're good for a couple strikeouts, maybe a ribby here. But 8 and 9, they went 11 for 14, 2 homers and 13 RBIs. I would be very, very impressed by Noel V. Marte, and Austin Wynn did an excellent job. And I mean, maybe we could see them making a play for the NL Central. I don't know. Too early to say, but
we are way overreacting.
We are way
That's what we do,
overreacting.
in a way.
We do.
We kind of have to.
We only have one more week. Let us overreact as we please. I mean, what are we going to do?
Well, in terms of the NBA, the playoffs have begun, and each team is fighting for the Larry O'Brien Trophy. After the break, we'll take you around the association and break down the first games of the first round.
What's up, NFL fans? Quarterback Josh Dobbs here. You may know me as the Pastronaut.
This is my time. I'm on the rise. Can't hold me down, I'm too fly. This is my time.
I've always loved space and football. Growing up, some people told me I had to choose. But here's the deal. You can be great at more than one thing, and getting involved in STEM opens up your world to a universe of opportunities in life. Space isn't just for the astronauts.
It's for all of us. It's not just for engineers like myself. It's for teachers,
students,
designers, mechanics, scientists,
and millions of football fans across the world.
3, 2, 1, watch out, here I come. This is my time. I'm on the rise, can't hold me down, I'm too fly. This is my time.
Get inspired and get involved today. There are STEM programs and science centers available in your community, so be sure to check out spaceforall.us to learn more and get started.
This is my time.
Go. You feel good about that? No. I'm looking at it right.
In yellow today, feel free to use orange, feel free to use green, feel free whatever you want to do. These are what I have in my refrigerator.
Students, especially those that are in CCI fondly enough, are going to be visiting there quite often. But does their reward program
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Your Cleveland Cavaliers hosted the Miami Heat for Game 1 of the NBA playoffs. Let's head to Rocket Arena to see how the game went down. Donovan Mitchell hoping to help his Cavs get to the promised land, but it starts here. Game 1 against the Heat. Cavs off to a hot start. Spida elevates from the baseline for the one-hand jam. They started hot, and we are now tied at 20. Mitchell sends it to Depoy finalist Evan Mobley, who throws the hammer down. Cleveland on a little bit of a run here, and Mitchell uses his wingspan to get the steal. He had 4 on the night and cap off a 12-4 Cavs run with the breakaway jam. Heat not going down quietly as Davion Mitchell gets the alley, and Bam Adebayo brings down the oop. Darius Garland matched the team high of 5 threes, this one over Tyler Hero. But once we hit the third, it is the Cavs from here. Mitchell drives to the cup, switches hand, and gets the reverse lay-in off the glass. Miami was led with Adebayo. He snags the rebound, gets the second chance basket. He finished with 24 points and 9 rebounds. They didn't play with a super deep bench, but one of the bright spots was Haywood Highsmith. He had a couple of points, one of the young guys, but the Cavs had a stellar fourth quarter, outscoring Miami 34-21. Mitchell finished with 30 points in those 4 steals that I mentioned. Now for the man, the myth, the legend, Ty Jerome, 6th Man of the Year candidate, getting shifty to snag the floater. In his first ever playoff game, Jerome dropped 28 with 5 threes. Great defense from Mitchell. He's looking to keep the ball in play, and you'll see he'll just tap it out there to Darius Garland, and he will hit the dagger. DG, the PG, ices it with the 3, and the Cavs take game 1, 121-100.
Happy Monday, everyone. I'm Gage Well, and the NBA playoffs started on Saturday. And the reigning champion Boston Celtics look to start their repeat against the Orlando Magic. Titletown, Massachusetts, Boston, home of the beloved Celtics. Here's Derek White going to take a deep 3 to put Boston up by 4, and they love to shoot the lights out of the ball. Here he is, the bald-headed menace, Peyton Pritchard, the thorn in the side of all contenders. Here he is again, nasty reverse layup, getting it done for the Celtics. For the Magic, it was Franz Wagner with a beautiful pure-away layup against Porzingis. Paulo Banchero, deep 3, and the Magic really made the Celtics fight for this one. Here's Tatum, beautiful shot. That's absolutely tough, but he's a professional. What can I say? Franz Wagner, again, beautiful jump and gets the bucket. Then Jason Tatum gonna find Jaylen Brown on the reverb, and then it's Drew Holiday, veteran, for 3. He's been in these situations before. 2 rings for Mr. Holiday. Paulo Banchero, another big 3. Magic just down in that hole yet again, though. Jaylen Brown letting them know who the champions are in this sector. Here it is, Wendell Carter Jr. Again, another slam, but Peyton Pritchard, absolutely fantastic from beyond the arc. Really could be a difference maker in these Eastern Conference playoffs. Here he is again, showing who is boss. Here is Orlando, Paulo Banchero, right corner jumper, it's good. To cap off the night for Boston, Derek White, just as he started it with a 3-pointer. Boston takes game 1, 103-86.
Pistons are taking on the Knicks out in the 3-6 matchup in the East. Cade Cunningham playing in his first playoff game in his career. First quarter, Knicks up 4. Mikal Bridges will make it 6 with that step back. Tim Hardaway Jr., however, the former Knick, with the steal, and he will go and slam it down to give the Pistons the early lead. In the first quarter, still, Pistons up 2. Tobias Harris, mid-range jumper is good. Final seconds winding down in the quarter. OG Anunoby will fade it away and tie it at 27 through the first 12 minutes. Second quarter, Malik Beasley nails it from downtown. And then the Knicks on the offensive end. Jalen Brunson misses the floater, but Mitchell Robinson with the ferocious putback. Anunoby pull up 3, he got it. Knicks up 2 at the break. Third quarter, Cunningham on the fast break. He scored 36 points. Leads all scores. There was 2 of them there on that layup. Josh Hart goes inside. Karl Anthony Towns for the layup. He scored 25, led the Knicks in this one. Beasley again in the corner from distance. Now let's go to the fourth. As the Knicks find themselves down 3, Towns is short on the 3. Hart gets it out. And how about Cameron Payne, the former Michigan State product from downtown? And Kat will steal it off the inbound. Hart to Brunson for the 2. The Knicks end the game on a 21-0 run to win 123-112.
Matt, let's head to the West Coast where LeBron's going to do his world-renowned chalk toss. Luka Doncic wide open. Why would you leave him wide open like that? But Nickeil Alexander-Walker with a beautiful French layup, if you will. Lots of LeBron James. Here he is with the fadeaway again. Can you believe he is 40 years old, performing at his best? But it's Naz Reid with the deep corner 3, and he's going to turn around and laugh at the Laker bench because the Timberwolves up 13. LeBron finding Austin Reeves for a corner 3 of Los Angeles' own, but it just seemed like Minnesota, they had the upper edge. As here's the former Laker, Julius Randle, gets his own rebound and 1 bucket. The Timberwolves feasting on the Lakers, up 20 in this one. Lakers going to try to find the way back here. Really solid shot from Luka, chipping at the lead, but it just seemed insurmountable. Circus shot from half court to end the third quarter from Luka. He had a pretty solid game, but Shooting was the name of the game for Minnesota. Even Julius Randle's out here taking pull-up threes. LeBron, vintage slam, and he's going to point at the ref. I don't know what he said. I wouldn't want to be that ref. I would love to be Naz Reid because he can shoot the ball like nobody's business. Jalen McDaniels to finish the night. Absolutely filthy layup over Gabe Vincent. Minnesota up 1-0, 117-95.
All right, and we even have a playoff game going on right now. It's Piston-Knicks game 2. Detroit's up 9 with less than 3 minutes to go in the first half in Madison Square Garden.
Yikes.
So, Gage, first 2 days of postseason play are done. What surprised you, and what kind of had you feeling good about yourself on predictions after those first 2 games?
Well, I really loved what I saw from Minnesota. I mean, shooters all around the ball, and I kind of saw them as better than their 6-seed label. I thought the Timberwolves came into this, kind of a rough regular season, injuries, poor play in some points, but Anthony Edwards, Naz Reid, and supporting cast, DiVincenzo, Alexander Walker. I really liked what I saw from the Timberwolves, and I still have them winning that series. What surprised me was I actually thought the Pistons weren't going to shock the Knicks and take a game in Madison Square Garden. Maybe that'll happen tonight. I don't know the score of that game. But I actually thought the Pistons were sort of looked as, kind of slimy underdogs. Maybe they don't get it done in the bright lights. And J.B. Bickerstaff's team, unfortunately, did that. We saw that with the Cavaliers in 2022. But I expected more from the Pistons, I will tell you that, Matt.
All right, so I'm going to kind of spring this on you. I'm going to surprise you, but on a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you in X team? We're going to rattle through a few. Let's start. Hometown favorites, Cleveland Cavaliers.
I'm confident in them to make it past the first 2 rounds because what we saw last night was just absolute dominance.
Yeah.
Miami made them work a little bit, especially in the first quarter. Miami even taking 2 or 4 point leads at some points, but we saw that kind of easy. I expect a sweep at most 5 games. And then I would also expect them to take down either the Pacers or Bucks. But when you get to the Celtics, I think it's really a case of you've got to see it to believe it. Second round loss last season, kind of tough for the Cavs because they got doused in, I think, 5. This is a different team. This is a healthy Cavalier team, but I would say 8 for the Cavaliers, 8 out of 10.
I do want to note that last night when that Cavs game was going on, our very own Gage Wellman texted in our sports group me that if Ty Jerome can play like he did last night on every other game, that the Cavaliers would be lifting the Larry O'Brien trophy. So we'll see. Moving on.
Well, but are we going to get Jerome every night? But we only have so much time.
That's a debate for a different day. How about the Los Angeles Clippers?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I love that one. They are.
You got my job.
I just feel like I've been waiting on this team for so long to really put it all together. I'm going to go like a 2.
All right.
So even with Luka, with the Lakers?
I said Clippers.
Yeah.
Oh, you said Clippers.
I was going to say, though, give me what's your Lakers.
I was going to say.
Los Angeles Lakers, I suppose that they could play quite well in the confines of Crypto.com arena, but I think Anthony Edwards is going to go crazy once this series heads back to Minneapolis because what we saw from him against a veteran team in Phoenix last year was impressive. It was inspirational, and quite frankly, I think we're going to see that in 2025.
Well, just for fun, tossing it back to the East, what do you got for the Milwaukee Bucks?
I
know no one's been talking about him. So
that one's difficult because Damian Lillard, he's coming back. He didn't play game 1, but should we expect to see him, maybe recover from that blood clot? We wish him Godspeed and recovery on that. I think they can make it past Indiana, but will Giannis have enough around him to say Cleveland? I don't think so. I'll give him a 5.
All right, last one. Gotta ask. They are the favorites, the Boston Celtics.
To make it out of the East, I'm going to go 8.5 to 9. Let's say 9.
Okay.
One step ahead of Cleveland, just because you never underestimate the heart of the champion, because so many great players on all sides of the ball. And what you love about Boston more than Cleveland is that Pritchard is more consistent than Jerome, and when you have 2 teams that stack up evenly with each other, Mobley, Tatum, Mitchell, Brown, Allen, Porzingis, you want your other guys to do better. But I don't have them as favorites. I think, Matt, you've got something to ask me.
Yeah, real quick, because we haven't hit on this one yet. The Oklahoma City Thunder, 1 seed out of the West. What do you like about them?
I think they're going to win the NBA championship. I do. I think this will be the pick that I make. I've said this before, so hard to repeat. Hasn't happened since the Kevin Durant Warriors. B, best defensive team in the league.
Yeah.
And when you have the best defensive team in the league and a guy scoring 30 you're probably going to at least make the finals. If they don't make the finals, I would be disappointed in Oklahoma City.
All right.
You think Thunder coming out of the West? Absolutely?
Yeah. I will say, Golden State is on the same tier as them.
Okay.
Wow.
But I would expect Oklahoma City.
I know you were asking earlier at the start. 17 seconds left in the half. Pistons are on top 53-48 on the Knicks. So there is a very good chance they go into the half with the lead. Gage, appreciate it as always, sir.
No problem,
Thanks for coming on.
No problem at all.
Well, not just the NBA playoffs, but the NHL playoffs are underway. We have the details and more after the break.
Hey, I'm worried about your parents. We need to show them how to spot phishing emails.
Agreed, the scammers are out of control.
Plus, help them add multi-factor authentication.
Yes, we use MFA at work, and it's great. Software update? Done. Time to celebrate.
For more information on how to keep yourself and those you care about safe online, go to cisa.gov/secure-our-world.
Hi, I'm Leland Melvin, and I traveled to space twice as a NASA astronaut. Space technologies help protect our precious Earth. Space helps us monitor changes in carbon emissions, track the pace of climate change, yet even helps us fight natural disasters. Make sure that you get out to your local science museum. Go to spaceforall.us to explore and learn about space and science. Space is for all.
First, they said cigarettes were safe. We know how that turned out. Now, they say they didn't market e-cigarettes to teens. Fact, more than 1 in 4 high school students are vaping, and 80% say their first e-cigarette was flavored. Vaping is harmful to developing brains. The reason we think vaping is safe? Marketing. Same lies, different day. Tell Big Vape to quit lying.
Is it okay over there? Is that good?
Jackie boy, look, we have bbeen through a lot together.
Hurry up before this rain, this rain goes away.
Well, it's just,
Welcome back, everybody. We're now joined by Maddox Miller getting ready to talk some NHL. But first, let's go to the highlights because the NHL playoffs started over on Saturday, and the Toronto Maple Leafs and Ottawa Senators clashed in a matchup in the Battle of Ontario as both teams are looking to bring Stanley Cup back to the motherland. We will pick this up first period. Scoreless, not anymore. Oliver Ekman-Larsson scores, and it's the home team on top to start things off 1-0. Mitch Marner on the breakaway, one-on-one, he puts it behind the net. It is 2-0 Toronto, and Scotiabank Arena is rocking. In the first still, it's still 2-0. The shot goes off goalie Anthony Stolos. Drake Datherson tips it in. It's 2-1 Leafs through one. Second period, Toronto on the power play. William Nylander will get it here. He'll try a wrister. It's no good. But John Tavares, he'll score on the ricochet to tie this game up, to give the Leafs a 3-1 lead. Now Toronto's on a 2-man advantage. Nylander does it himself, and the fans are absolutely loving it in Toronto. 4-1 Leafs. In the third, 4-2 now, but Morgan Riley says we'll get one back. He scored that one possibly from Ottawa. That was so long. 5-2 Leafs. Toronto wins game one by the final score of 6-2 as it's punctuated by that score there, and the Leafs go on top early in the series, 1-0. And
we're going to stay in Canada for a Winnipeg whiteout as the Jets were taking on the Blues. The St. Louis Blues would get on top early with a power play goal by Robert Thomas trying to recapture some of that 2019 magic. Up 1-0, Winnipeg on the power play. It would be a Mark Scheifele goal tying this up at 1 apiece here in the first 5 minutes in the first. And from deep, it would be Jared Anderson-Dolan. On the replay, you're going to see Morgan Barron act like he scored it, but it was Anderson-Dolan who put this one in the back of the net. He would get an assist, though. 2-1 now, Winnipeg up. It would be knotted up by Oscar Sundqvist. And now we head to the second. St. Louis on another power play, and it would be a rifle in from Jordan Kyrou. Kyrou putting St. Louis up 3-2. Winnipeg would get a power play of their own. Power plays going back and forth as we enter the third. Jordan Binnington, though, would make a phenomenal save. The Team Canada goalie who won that Four Nations face-off, making a phenomenal save, but it would probably be his best play of the night, as in the third period, it would get rough for him, as Alex Iafallo would tie it up at 3 apiece, and then with a minute and a half, it would be an absolute cannon shot from Kyle Connor. He had an assist earlier. He'd get 2 points on the night, and a 5-3 victory for the Jets to go up 1-0 in the series.
We wrap this up in the West. 3-seed Avs visiting the 2-seeded Dallas Stars. Let's get to it. After a scoreless first, the Avs open up the scoring courtesy of Arturi Lehkonen, who snags his own rebound and scores with his butt on the ice. Colorado on the power play. Nathan McKinnon off a wrister tips it into a Stars defender. Avs up 2-zip. Look at the replay. 46 was so shocked, I think they should credit him with an assist. Time ticking down on the Stars power play, and they capitalize. Rupe Hintz gets the first and only goal for Dallas. Spoiler alert, sorry about that, folks. From here on out, it is all Colorado. Avs on offense, skating down the ice. Devin Toews with a swift tap-in off the pass from Josh Manson, and the Avs are up 3-2-1. You can guess what happens here. 3 minutes left in the third. The Stars pull their goalie, and McKinnon says, hey, why not one more just for funsies? He nets another goal, and so does Charlie Coyle, as the Avalanche routed the Stars 5-1.
Okay, so with these first couple of games in the rearview mirror now in the playoffs, Maddox, I know you wanted to play a little game with us.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you guys mentioned it earlier. We love to overreact on Sportscorner.
Yeah, we do.
You know, game one, you want to keep things calm. You don't want to panic. We're going to do the complete opposite of that. We're going to go through and we're going to push the panic button on a bunch of different teams, on the playoffs in general, and we're going to start. Matt, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to go to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Well, there it is, folks.
Yeah.
Book it.
I mean, we just had it. We just had it. The way that offense was just clicking on all cylinders, they were ready for the moment. They were ready for the moment, and arguably one of the biggest opening round series in their franchise's history, because they're playing, you know, their neighbors in the province. So, and I feel like everybody got involved. Heck, I mean, for William Nylander, he had a long shot that somehow got tipped around, and John Tavares put it back in. Then he scored one on his own right after that. So I feel like that offensive attack was really sound for Toronto, and I think if they just keep that going, they can make and possibly meet the Tampa Bay Lightning in the Eastern Finals.
There's no Boston to eliminate them as well.
That's
They don't have,
true.
they
No
don't have,
Bruins.
yeah, no Bruins, no mortal enemy to get in their way. But Liv, what do you got for us?
The curse is over. The Winnipeg Jets have destroyed the President's Trophy curse.
Wow, okay.
Look, I think it's like my favorite type of curse because it is one that sort of reinforces it. Like, everything has always proved that this is like a curse as soon as you win the President's Trophy. It is a real curse. But I'm going to say that, you know, let's say they'll break it. They had a really good start against the Blues, which is shocking because that game looked like it was going all St. Louis's way. So I guess I'm just proud of the resilience from the guys in order to come back and win that game. But I'll say it. I'll say the curse is broken. We love breaking curses and destroying records and whatnot. So I definitely think that that would be my overreaction. What about you, Maddox?
I definitely think Connor Hellebuck's got to tighten things up a little bit.
He does,
but
yeah.
Winnipeg is on a magical run right
They
now,
are.
just as a team, so I would not be shocked for them to have a deep run. I'm going to take it to your game, Colorado-Dallas.
Yep.
Dallas' season is over. It's over.
Wow.
That's crazy.
It's over.
Just
No,
end this
another.
sentence, Dallas' season is over.
It's going to be another disappointment for the Stars. They always put these good regular season teams out there, and it seems like they can never just get to where you feel like they should be. In Colorado, their offense was just phenomenal. Nathan McKinnon, 2 goals. Jake Ottinger was a mess, let up 4 goals, only an 82.6 save percentage. And Cale Makar, who I believe was their second leading goal scorer for Colorado, he pretty much did nothing the entire game. And so what happens when he is unlocked in these playoffs? Arturi Lehkonen had a goal as well. I think it's just too much. Obviously, Dallas has the firepower to try and get back, but I think this is another severe disappointment for Stars fans. I'm so sorry. You can still hang on to a Rangers World
Stars
Series,
fans,
I guess.
Stars
Right
fans,
hand
it is
up
muff
accountability
over.
here real quick. The Leafs cannot meet the Lightning in the finals because
Well.
they have the Lightning Panthers winner in the semis. Thank you, Maddox.
Whoopsie daisy.
Well, the NFL draft will start on Thursday, and a lot of players, in terms of the college ranks, are looking to get drafted in the first round. And our own Evan Schofield is here as we figure out whether those first-round players are a boom or a bust. Did you come up with that yourself?
I did, Matt.
Good for you. That's great.
What?
You didn't take that from anywhere? No Twitter account's gonna add us and say that we're plagiarizing
of course not.
You
No.
sure?
I'm sure.
He's sure.
Are you sure?
All right. Well, to start off, let's go to a player that one of them that just had their number retired. Of
course.
Shedeur Sanders, Colorado's quarterback.
Yeah. How about that? I mean, and Travis Hunter, by the way. They both, I mean.
We'll get to him later.
We will. He's mocked number 9 to the Saints. A lot of people have him going there. Threw for 4,100 yards. Excuse me, sorry. Threw for 4,100 yards, 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. I think this depends on the team.
Okay.
I think if you take a team like the Saints, who have been a pretty bottom organization, I would say bust. Because you have to build around him. Maybe if he goes to a team like Pittsburgh or he goes to a team like maybe the Giants. Maybe it could be better for him, but I'm pretty in between. I'd love to know what you guys think.
I mean, I am still stuck on the Shedeur to Cleveland train. I think all this Travis Hunter stuff is just a facade. I tragically think he will be drafted 2 overall by the Cleveland Browns, whether I agree with it or not. But I have to go with bust. I don't quite see what everyone is so infatuated with Sanders. What about you?
I have to give credit to my friends over 92.3 The Fan. They call it the afternoon guys. They call it a should drop when Sanders is getting falling in mock drafts.
Yeah.
So I like the Saints pick. I know they've had their eye on him for a while, and I do agree with you. The fact that they got to put the pieces around him, but are they willing to wait it out in terms of trying to get receivers that can catch the ball for him? Because Chris Olave can only do so much in that wide receiver room for New Orleans. So yes, Sanders has that mobility with his legs, but it just right now it's a lot of unquestioned, and I'll have to go bust. How about the quarterback that is coming off a national title in Will Howard?
Okay.
Yeah.
Will Howard, I mean, what a year for Will Howard. He really stepped up. He really did all that he needed to do. Threw for 4,000 yards. Excuse me, sorry. I actually found out, I was talking to my buddies about this, he had about the same stats as Shedeur Sanders in Colorado, which I don't know if it matters depending on the system.
Should Will Howard get his number retired by the Buckeyes then?
Sure, why not? Why not? Anyways, he's going to be a later round pick for sure.
Yeah.
I'd say 4, maybe 5. I might just go bust here because I don't know when he's going to be able to be a starter in this league. There's so many teams that need a quarterback, but
I don't think that Howard is a starting talent. I mean, we even saw there was a report that came out today that he wasn't meeting with a lot of teams just because they don't see him as a franchise-changing sort of player. And I don't either. Look, the kid is good, but a lot of that Ohio State success was not because of him. Having a good quarterback is great, but he had a receiving core that was out of this world, a defensive line that was unmatched. But speaking of another college phenom from this past year, Ashton Jeanty, boom or bust.
I'm going to go with a bust. No, I'm kidding. We're going to go on a...
Oh my God, can you imagine?
We're going to go boom here.
Ashton
Jeanty, what an insane talent. I think I had him mocked to either the Raiders or the Jaguars going early. You can kind of intermix there. What a season. 29 rushing touchdowns in his last year with Boise State. He's a power back. Remember, I don't know if you guys saw his tweet or whatever he said on his Instagram. I was like, if you want to Saquon Barkley, you can have me, Ashton Jeanty. But yeah, I'd totally go with the boom.
Real quick, all of us on 3, because he's mocked to the local team here in the Browns, Travis Hunter. On 3, all boom or bust, because I'm expecting something to happen here. This is called science, folks. This is an experiment. Ready? But slow, or excuse me, soft, because our audio
they would
person
hate
Devin.
Sorry, Devin. Okay, ready?
1, 2, 3, boom.
Boom.
Okay, there you go.
Okay.
Boom! I'm kidding.
No.
Real quick, Emeka Ibuka?
Yeah.
Boom or bust?
Boom.
Boom?
Boom.
I think he goes to the Green Bay Packers. Why?
Why?
The system in place in Green Bay.
Yes, the system he plays in Green Bay.
All right.
One more thing to say. Happy birthday, Mom. I love you.
Happy birthday, Mama Schofield.
Thanks, Evan.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it as always.
The Women's Ice Hockey Championship took place on Sunday between the U.S. and Canada. Stay with us for empowerment and more award-winning segments coming up.
Can you help me?
What you got there?
Will you help my mom?
Hey, crew, I'll give the first move to anyone who signs up to be an organ donor. How do you do it?
Easy. Just go to organdonor.gov.
More donors means more hope. Sign up at organdonor.gov.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma. I have a mentor, and she convinced me to continue my education.
No one receives a diploma alone.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, go get it. You can do it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome back to Sports Corner. We start tonight's end segment. Well, with a score update, Kent State and Washington Jefferson just went final in baseball, 21-3. Wow. The Flashes take down the Presidents. So, with that being said, I'm going to crash out. WrestleMania took place over the weekend, and John Cena is your new champion 17 times. And along with that, he is now the most awarded wrestler of all time. No one has won more WrestleMania titles than him, but the way he has acted, oh, John, you disappointed me. I don't know why does the heel have to happen? I'm sorry. I don't know why. This guy was the face of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. No one made more kids more happy than John Cena, and now all of a sudden in the big 2025, we have to just be like, I don't want to talk, thanks. No, that's a clip-baited question. That's lazy reporting. John Cena, you are an embarrassment. Embarrassment to the World Wrestling Entertainment, and I am ashamed that you won that title and you beat Cody Rhodes, because that is not how a champion acts. A champion acts with grace, dignity, and gratitude. A champion is everything that you were in Las Vegas this past weekend. Shame on you, Jonathan Cena. I couldn't even do it with a straight face.
Jonathan Cena is crazy.
Yeah,
Anyways,
sorry.
well, the United States women's hockey team proved that hockey is America's sport after toppling defending champions Canada 4-3 in overtime to win the Women's Ice Hockey World Championship on Sunday. Canada and the U.S. have faced off for gold at 23 out of 24 World Championships, including last year, where Canada won 6-5 in overtime. Yesterday netted the U.S.'s 11th title and set a strong message ahead of next year's Olympics in Milan. There was a scoreless first period before each team scored 2 goals each in the second. Canada and the U.S. went into overtime tied at 3, but it was Tessa Janicki, the 20-year-old superstar forward, who won it for the U.S. with 2:54 left in overtime. Yesterday's match was the longest game in World's women's history, and the U.S. lost their starting goalie, Aaron Frankel, but Gwyneth Phillips came in and made some crucial saves to get the U.S. the win. The future is bright for women's hockey, and the best is yet to come next year at the Olympics.
Hello, one, and I'm sorry, Liv. I know empowerment's normally your thing, but today is a little different. For those of you who don't know, I flew down to Atlanta to watch my little sister play her final softball games this weekend. She also chose me to throw out the first pitch for her ceremony, so I wanted to make some time this show to shout out Bella Leonardi on an amazing softball career. I couldn't have been more proud to see all you've accomplished after all the hard work you put in over the years. I'll never forget seeing you come home with a new trophy almost every weekend tournament of the summer and bragging to all my friends and teachers at school about how good of a player you are. I know that your college career was a little different than what you expected, but nonetheless, you still had the same positive impact on your team that you've always managed to create. I know beyond softball, you'll continue to be someone we can all look forward to, to seeing and looking up to. Congrats on an amazing softball career. I love you, kid.
Oh, that's
the
so nice.
sweetest
My
thing.
God.
That's the sweetest thing that we've ever had.
Holy cow.
For those of you who don't know, Anthony is our sports director. Sorry, our sports content manager. So it was really awesome. I know that pitch that he threw was absolutely a ball, but it doesn't matter because I'm sure he did great. Anyways, for tonight's end segment, we are asking the cast if they could choose a superpower like Barry Bonds hitting or Usain Bolt's speed from any sport, what would it be? Matt?
I would want to honestly hit a ball like Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
I saw a TikTok earlier today where it was like his mentality. It's crazy. Just blocks out the rest of the fielders. It's just pitcher against hitter. Really interesting stuff. I would love to just hit nukes like Barry Bonds.
I think that'd be crazy. For me, I'm kind of tied between two. My first instinct was Ilona Maher's strength because that woman is insane. I want to be able to like body check people, but she's also very graceful with it. So I love Ilona Maher's speed. Or for some reason, gymnastics I think is the most beautiful thing ever. So I'd love to have Simone Biles' like flexibility and her ability to contort her body in ways and do flips and like not freak out about that, because the second my head is like over my feet, I like freak out. So that's those would be my two. I'm gonna stop my rambling. Let's go to Couch Island. What say you, Evan Schofield?
Oh, Liv Sharp. Well, I have a person here. We're gonna go with the GOAT, Tom Brady, but not his throwing ability, but his longevity.
Okay.
The way he conditions himself. Because you know how hard it is to be in the NFL for as long as he was?
It's gonna be a 12-year season.
Very hard. He had a very
Only
good
guy I remember doing it.
Only guy I remember. So that would definitely be the power that I would take, Gage.
Well, I really like that, Evan. I'm going to go with Arnold Palmer's creativity in making the greatest drink of all time, iced tea and lemonade.
All right.
But on a serious note, I would go with, this is hard. I've always said if I could be any professional athlete, I would be a golfer. So I think I'm just going with, Tiger Woods' general Tiger Woods-ness. Maybe Tiger Woods' ability to perform in the clutch. What do you think, Avery?
I'm thinking the same as Liv. I would want Simone Biles' leg power because as a volleyball player, I need to jump. And right now my hops are lacking a little. So I think if I just had her leg power, like I'd be able to jump so much higher, block a lot of more balls. So that's what I would pick. What about you?
I, at this point, never going to be collegiate athlete, professional
Never
athlete.
say never, Max.
But
you got a couple of years.
You got 2 years.
Yeah, but so in that, and I'm kind of like doing a weird wraparound answer. I think I would want to take, I don't know if I want to do Phil Jackson or Greg Popovich's coaching ability. I would, because being an NBA coach I think would be so cool. I think it'd be way easier than being an NFL coach. Would not want to manage a 53-man roster. But I think I would probably go Popovich. Yes, there's a little bit of Spurs bias in there, but I think Phil Jackson's triangle would be a little outdated in today's game. But that would be my
stuff, guys.
That was my
Those are really good answers.
Yeah.
I'm surprised no one said speed. I guess we all think we're pretty speedy here. We've got good legs, I suppose.
I'm ready to go 90 minutes next week.
Last one.
Season finale.
Oh my
Yep,
God.
it'll be fun. Well, that'll do it for this edition of Sports Corner. We all thank you so much for watching.
For updates from us 24/7, head over to KentStater.com and be sure to tune in to Overtime right here every Friday at 7 p.m. I'm Liv Sharp.
And I'm Matt Caroli saying wherever the ball flies in the air, the Kent Stater Sports Network will be there. Good night.
Brush, brushy, brush, brushy, brush, brush your teeth. Every day and every night. Now it's your parents' turn. Here's what you gotta do. Let them have your toothbrush so that they can brushy brush your teeth. Good job, you're almost done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. Help your teeth stay healthy. Brushy brush with a grown-up every day.
Jimmy can't sing, and Tommy can't dance, so we're gonna put some ants in their pants. Aww.
Kids will spend 22 minutes watching us, the super duper party troopers, sing about ants in their pants.
Isn't that funny? Ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.